Okay, so we're finally at the point where we're going to wire this up to our actual API. So in order to do this, we're going to use dependency injection to make sure that in production, we're using the real database, and in tests, we're not. So because we can now trust that our database file itself is tested, we don't actually have to hit it anymore. So I'm effectively going to mock that thing too now. So the way I'm going to do this is in the server test here, we created this make app function, and I'm going to inject a database into it. So I'm going to start out by taking in a DB here, and then I'm going to modify the way this works. In this case here, we're going to make this into an async function because all of my database functions are async. So here we're going to await, or sorry, this is async here. Now here we're going to await db.listTodos. Right? Now, this is not defined now. So this here, we have to bring it in on the index. So in here, we're going to say import star as db from db.js. And then when we create our app here, we can call it like this. Now, this is not happening now because this only happens in production, but it is happening in our test. So now in the test, we have to do something similar. We have to have a DB here to pass in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say const db equals, and this is going to be listTodos. And I want this to be basically just.fn again here. But because I want to be able to manipulate it, I'm going to define it outside here. So const listTodos equals just.fn. And of course, just in here is not defined, so we have to bring that in. So import just from just globals. Right. And now we can see here, this was expecting a string containing JSON, but it got undefined. And the reason it got undefined is that this function returns undefined right now. So the test that failed here was on line 23. And that means that we have to feed it JSON or it's not going to return JSON correctly. So we're going to say listTodos.mock resolved value. And here we're just going to give back an empty array because we don't need to do anything else. And that was enough to pass the test. Now, we also need to clear the mocks every time. So before each, just clear all mocks. And in here now, we want to expect that listTodos to have been called times 1. Right? And we can make sure that this is going to return the right thing. listTodos mock resolved value. And that is that. So it is being called, which means that when we do this for real, it will call the real DB function because that's the one that's being imported or injected from the production file. So let's take another look, make sure everything looks good here. And this should be fine. Yeah. So git add all, git commit -m, and this is use db.listTodos API. Okay, that's going to cover it for this video.